Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Kneejerk stream for Gameweek 9. A lot to discuss in this stream. We're going to discuss Gameweek 9, how it's gone for all of us, and also look ahead to Gameweek 10 as well. But yeah, what a mad game. Bit of a mad game week. But yeah, how you doing, Jordan? We're here to dissect it all.
Yeah, there's a lot to dissect. I think a few shots results this week, and what a way to end the game week of Arsenal Liverpool result. I mean, it's been not disappointing football, and it's also been good in terms of FPL. I think combination.
Yeah. Well, let's discuss it because this is how my team's gone. So in goal, Raya. Now, obviously, we just watched the Liverpool Arsenal game. I thought the draw probably is the fair result in the end. I think Arsenal had the better first half. For Liverpool played a lot better second half, but I thought Arsenal just went in defense mode in the second half, which I didn't think they needed to do. But Raya comes away with a 0 pointer. I think he got yellow card as well. I don't know what he was booked for.
I think wasting time taking the ball for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think wasting time, which, you know, Arsenal, I felt like we're wasting time from about the 70 minutes onward, which is quite embarrassing. But it is what it is. So I had to get that dig in. But yeah, it comes with a 0 pointer in the back three. Gabriel, 1 pointer. He was injured. He did go off. So I think it looked like a hamstring, maybe. I'm not sure, which is, you know, a big blow for Arsenal if he's out for long term. I don't know. Obviously, again, we'll have to see because it's very hard to tell from that. He did limp off. So we'll have to see in terms of Gabriel whether he becomes a transfer out for our teams. Lewis as well. I thought I'm going to keep the faith with him. Luckily, you know, he did manage to keep the clean sheet. I was worried. You know, they haven't kept too many clean sheets, Man City, but against Southampton, if they didn't do it in this game, I probably would have rage sold him. So yeah, I was happy that he managed to keep the clean sheet in the end.
I think that's the second clean sheet for Man City because I think the first one was from Chelsea in Gameweek 1.
Yeah. Also, Everton 1-1 for Mykolenko comes away with a 2 pointer. Annoyingly, I decided to play Mykolenko instead of Nuri, which we'll come on to. But yeah, Mykolenko gets a blank after the 1-1. And not really much to say there. In terms of midfield, though, a lot better, a lot more positive. Now, as you guys know, I kept Saka in the end because I knew that Arteta wasn't telling the truth and that Saka will start. And I did say Saka will definitely play. So if you didn't want to keep him, and especially because Son, we got news that Son was not going to play, which, as we saw today, Son didn't start. Because my plan was Saka to Son. But then when Son, when I found out Son's not playing, then keeping Saka made sense. And I didn't expect much from Saka, to be fair. I didn't expect him to get me a 9-pointer. But he did score a really good goal very early on. I think it was like the 8th or 10th minute. Long ball over, and Robertson, Robertson really struggled against Saka today, especially the first half. Cuts in, great finish. Yeah, 9-pointer. Can't really complain. And, you know, I'm quite happy that I've kept him in the end because obviously, you know, he's helped me get quite a decent rank.
Just to obviously top onto that conversation, because I know you're a Liverpool fan. Do you think Van Dijk could have potentially helped more in that situation where Robertson was a bit hands-on with Saka? Because he did.
Yeah, I saw Gary Neville mention it. Could Van Dijk? I think he could have ran a bit faster, but I think that's what the complaint is more about. I personally think it's just I just think it's a great finish from Saka and a great piece of skill. But I do think it's also poor from Robertson. From a Liverpool point of view, Robertson, I think, he's got to do a lot better there. But again, it is a great finish. Once he cuts in, Robertson's in trouble, really. But yeah, maybe possibly found that could have run back a bit quicker. But it's one of those. And Burmo, again, I don't know what to say about this guy. He's an essential basically at this point at his price. I think he's a second top scorer in the league. I think only Haaland has more goals than him, I believe. I'm not sure, but yeah, 15 pointer from him. I can't complain. The guy's been unreal for my team. I've had him since Gameweek 1, I think. And yeah, he basically scores every week. You know, I think it's only like 1 or 2 game weeks where he hasn't got me anything. But yeah, 15 points is big. Happy to see him, you know, get the points in that game. I think it was 4-3 in the end, which was a bit of a mad result. You know, Ipswich were 2-0 up at one point, and Brentford come back 4-3. big win. And Burma obviously getting 2 goals. And I think in terms of the bonus points, I think he got the 3 bonuses all in the end. But Wissa also scored in that game for those that decided to bring Wissa in. And then Palmer, as you guys know, Palmer, another player I wanted to have in my team. I took out Trent for Palmer, and this is why, because I just think Palmer is one of those players. He's sort of consistently getting you returns now as well, and it is again great performance from Palmer. Brilliant for the first goal. Wasn't involved in FPL wise, but what a ball to Neto. Obviously, Neto cuts it back to Jackson, and yeah, great play from Palmer, and also he scored a lovely goal. And yeah, Palmer's just, I think he's one of those players that you probably have to have in your team as well, because obviously against Liverpool he was very quiet, but we did say Liverpool is a tougher game for him. And Newcastle, I did say, is a good game to bring him in for. And now he's got Man United next, I believe, as well. When with the way Man United are playing, he could do really well in that one as well. So yeah, happy to see him with the 10 points, double-digit return again. Sort of saves me as well because I don't own Salah. And then Rodgers, 1 pointer. Quite disappointed with Rodgers, subbed off before 60 minutes. Aston Villa did draw, I think it was, in the end, 1-1 against Bournemouth. Yeah, didn't see that one coming, but yeah, it's one of those. As I said, with latest price, it is what it is. He's had a good season, I still think, and he's going to be in my team for a while longer. Up front is where the disappointment happens, really, for my team this week. You guys probably don't know, but last minute, before the deadline, I played the triple captainship on Haaland. When I played it, and then after the deadline, I regretted it straight away. But watching that game, Haaland should have had a hat-trick that game. If you see the chances he missed, sitters, his XG as well, I think, he had the highest amount of XG in any game, I think, since he's joined the Premier League. But I believe so. In his 77 games he's played for Man City in the league. It's one of those. Southampton only lost 1-0, so in theory the score looks respectable, just a 1-0 win. But Haaland really should have had 2 or 3 easily, and on the day I look like a genius. That Haaland's got bagged a hat trick. It's one of those. It's a bit unlucky, but some people will say he's not. Man City haven't been the best. Would have been better to go elsewhere, but I felt like Haaland would score. When he scored early on, 5 minutes, I was thinking, okay, here we go. It's going to be a big score, but it wasn't that in the end.
Yeah, I think it's the same for Foden as well, for those who brought him in. I mean, his XG was pretty high. He could have potentially scored 2 goals as well alongside Haaland in that game. So, a bit of unfortunate there.
Yeah, just very annoying. Now I've played the chip. It is what it is. Haaland comes away with the 18 point after just the 1 goal. I don't think he got the bonus in the end, did he? No bonus as well, which was annoying. Vardiol got the 3 bonus, and then I think Savio got 3 as well. So no bonus as well, which if he had the 3 bonus, I could have, no bonus, and that is a bit disappointing. But more disappointing is the other 2 forwards. I think Solanke and Calvert-Lewin are now firmly. I mean, Solanke for sure, I think is going to go for my team. I think I've been patient enough with them too. I think, especially Calvert-Lewin, another blank for both, and especially when Chris Wood yet again scores another goal. When you've got Calvert-Lewin, who's sort of getting you blanks every week, even though he's had chances to score, he should have had a lot more goals than he does. He's just pretty poor finishing. Solanke again with him. I didn't watch today's games. I know Tottenham lost 1-0 against Palace, but I heard he wasn't really involved in the game, not taking many shots. So I think Solanke will potentially be coming at my team as well. For there's other strikers in there, because I can downgrade any of these guys and try to bring Salah in potentially for a Saka. But I don't know how do I fit Salah in. Sorry, is it for Saka? Do I take Haaland out? Dare I say it? I've seen some chats amongst the community. Should you take out Haaland now? Which we'll come on to in a second. But yeah, Solanke and Calvert-Lewin very disappointed with both of them really for a couple of weeks now. Should have had more returns, and it's just one of those. In the back line, Fabianski did start, I believe. I think he played in that game against Manchester United. I think Areola was benched. And Man United ended up 2-1 in the end. I think it was controversial whether... Did you watch the Man United game? Did you see the 2-1, the penalty? What did you think of it?
No, I didn't actually witness it. I didn't watch the Man United game, but I did hear of the controversy from that penalty after 90 minutes.
Yeah, a bit of controversy surrounding that. the second goal. I've not fully watched it back, so yeah, let us know what you guys think of that one. But yeah, Fabianski 0-pointer in the win. Semenyo 1-pointer against Aston Villa in their 1-1 draw, which I benched him for anyway. Eight Nuri is the annoying one slightly. You know, I bought him in because I like his fixtures going forward. I didn't expect a clean sheet from Eight Nuri, which is why I benched him, which did sort of work out in the end. He didn't get a clean sheet. However, as we know, he does get the attacking returns, and he went and scored against Brighton, which maybe I should have played him instead of Mikalenko with hindsight, because he's got better attacking threat than Mikalenko. But Mikalenko did have a home game, I think, against Fulham, and I thought maybe he can nick a clean sheet. He almost did nick a clean sheet, but you know, Awobi did score, so just one of those. So, but Ain't Nuri, I like him for the fixtures going forward, and I'll definitely will start playing him in my team because I did bring him in for the long term. And then Greaves, we know a couple of weeks he's still out for. So this is the best week I've had in a long, long time in terms of green. I think this is my first green. It feels like in a while. I don't know why. Like at least 2-3 weeks. So 66 points, which I'll take. Triple captaincy didn't go to plan. If it did, then obviously could have been a lot better. But can't complain too much. You know, Mbermo, Palmer, really saving me. Saka as well, to be fair. 66 points, and now I'm up to 2.2 million, I believe. So yeah, that's the team for game week 9. And that's how it's gone. Let's pull up your team, Jordan. Talk us through how your week's gone.
Yeah, it's been a decent week for me. Let's start off with the goalkeeper. Obviously, Hermanson got 1 point. You can see there's 3 goals. So you know what that means, the point taken off for the least 2 that he got conceded. And Leicester ended up losing 3-1 against Nottingham Forest in that game. So it was expected. I was just counting on Hermanson to get some save points, which he didn't. But yeah, that 1 point was not a surprise. Moving on to the back three, Robertson, who only played about 62 minutes, obviously didn't get a clean sheet in that 2-2 draw. And because he conceded 2, again, same situation, 1 point only from him, and no clean sheet for Liverpool again. Moving on to Keane, same situation where he got his double haul last week, but didn't get much success this week. Only 2 points in that draw against Fulham in that 1-1. So yeah, no clean sheet, only 2 points. Bit surprising, but it was quite a good result in terms of obviously Fulham in the form. And finally, to complete the defence, we've got Nuri, who I brought in for Gabriel, and that worked out really well because obviously Gabriel didn't keep a clean sheet. And on the other hand, Nuri got an attacker return. He scored the goal in the late stages of the game, equalising it against Brighton. He did get a yellow card as well, but it made up for it, obviously, for scoring. So 6 points I'm happy with. Transfer did pay off. I didn't expect to actually get anything from that game when I saw Brighton score. I think Welbeck scored the first goal. So yeah, I was a bit surprised that Nuri did score the draw equaliser. Moving on to the midfield, it's a little bit mixed bag. It's quiet, but a little bit of action happened. We'll first go to Palmer. His 10 points, obviously for scoring that wonderful goal. Didn't actually think that was going to be going in. I thought the goalkeeper should have done much better for Nick Pope's hand. But yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Palmer seems to be on the hot streak, masterclass for Chelsea. He's no doubt Chelsea's best player in the team, and he continues his run of form with his double haul. Moving on to Rodgers, as we spoke about, he didn't play the full game, and it was a draw against Bournemouth. I mean, maybe the midweek fixture sort of screwed that result because there is a lot of football going on with Aston Villa now, so maybe it's half expected that Rodgers wasn't going to play the full 90 after playing midweek. Brennan Johnson's a surprising one. I didn't watch the game, but I was shocked to see the result 1-0 Crystal Palace. It's considering how poor they've been with not winning a single game until now against Tottenham, which was the most unlikeliest fixture I thought Crystal Palace would get their win against. Brennan Johnson only got 1 point. He got a yellow card, which had a point taken off, and obviously no attacking returns from Tottenham.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, what's your thoughts on Spurs as a whole? You know, they've been quite poor. I think the attackers, like especially Solanke and Johnson, not getting the returns. Are you going to keep the faith with them? In your case, Johnson, or will you be looking to maybe move them away?
Yeah, I think I'll still hold on to Brennan Johnson. I think, especially with Son being absent for I don't know how long his injury is out.
I think he's
for, but
back. He wasn't serious. He could have played, but they didn't want to risk him, basically.
precautionary. Okay, so yeah, I still got the faith. I think in Brendan Johnson. He's still got Aston Villa and Ipswich next before he has Man City in game week 12. So I'll give him 2 more game weeks, see how he does, and maybe look to get rid of him in game week 12. But I think there's still goals for Spurs, and obviously that's going to come from those front three, either from Johnson, Son, or other midfielders there. So I think I'm going to keep the faith for 2 more game weeks. Moving on to Salah now. This was a interesting clutch, but Salah does always make up for it, even if it's late in the game. But he did score to get that equaliser for Liverpool, a very important one, to deny Arsenal the 3 points. And
I think he ended up with more than 10 as well. I think he got the 3 bonus as well. So I think he'd actually got more points for you.
So you got the bonus 3.
I think he got the 3 bonus points. Yeah. So I don't know what that will sort of change, if that will change your rank or.
But that's good because he was on bonus 2 originally, and it's changed to 3. Yeah, that's even better. He's double haul. It certainly paid off for me, especially when I don't own Saka, and that slightly put my rank down until Salah scored. I got the bonus points on top of that. So yeah, I'm quite happy to not have got rid of Salah. I kept him, kept the faith in him, and he does, as I mentioned, turn up in big games like Arsenal. And finally, moving on to McNeil, which is a bit of a shame. I'm not sure how serious his injury is, but he's yellow flagged as a knock currently, so we have to wait and see further down the week in the conference, see what the manager does say about him. But he did indeed blank in that game. He wasn't part of the action, and again, we have to see what happens with McNeil. But I think most of the success came from the front 2 forwards that I have. Obviously, Haaland. The curse is lifted, guys. I finally got a return underneath Captain Haaland, so I haven't jinxed it again for everyone that did captain him. But yeah, even though he only scored 1 goal, which was a shock result, I thought Man City would put about 3 or 4 behind Southampton. But they still got the win, clean sheet regardless. And the captain indeed did pay off. Not the best captain pick this week in terms of my team, but I'm happy that I actually got a captaincy correct. And finally, move on to the star player of my team. That is Chris Wood. Now, I did indeed watch this Friday night football match, and I thought he was absolutely amazing, Chris Wood, in this game, scoring the 2 goals, getting the bonus 3 points. And he was another player that did have a slight injury, but it wasn't serious at all. It's pretty minor. Again, it's a little knock. I think it was just more the fatigue, if anything. So I think he should be fine for the next game week. But he did get me the 13 points, which I'm quite happy with. I think as well, Chris Wood is level with, in terms of second place, just underneath Haaland in terms of goals scored this season. So never saw that come in either. But yeah, I'm happy to own Chris Wood. In terms of the bench, pretty quiet. Vardy Marston didn't play for Brentford, obviously, as the goalkeeper. Fies conceded, obviously 3-2 Nottingham Forest with only 1 point. Robinson only got 2. The clean sheet wiped against him. And Wheatley didn't play for Man United as a non-playing forward. In terms of the ranking, it's a nice green arrow. It's not a big one. It's about 200k. I was 3.9 million before Game Week 9, and obviously I'm 3.7 now. So yeah, it's very tough, I think, this season to get a green arrow, considering my safety rank, my safety score was 57. So I'm only 2+ over that on 59. So yeah, I think without Salah getting me that double haul, it would have been a red arrow for me.
Yeah, let's pull up some of your comments. Roman, highlights 68 points for me playing Vardy over Son. Worked nicely and finally got a clean sheet from Dean Henderson, which feels long overdue. I feel like my transfer will 100% depend on Son news. I think Son is fine, as far as I'm aware. He should be back for the next game. How bad is Gabriel's injury? Again, it's very hard to tell at this moment.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait. I mean, we're not going to get any news. We know what Arteta's like. You're not going to hear about it. So, hopefully you've got bench cover there if you do decide to keep him. But yeah, I don't expect you to hear much from Gabriel's issues.
I think he was seen on the bench, come back from the dugout with ice on his knee. So maybe that's hopeful. 63 points, no triple captain, and my transfers paid off. Bought in Cunha and Vardy all for Watkins and Saliba.
Only negative this weekend was Man United losing, but to be honest, I'm used to it now, says Harry. Stuck with Salah for the entire season, and it's paid off. I trust him more than Haaland, to be honest, since Salah does really well in big games. And I think Chelsea battering my club this time next week will be the day Ten Hag is gone. I'm most likely going to captain Palmer v Man United, which is Roman's club, unless I do Son out to bring Salah in, which I can't afford for free. We do want to have some Salah chat. Obviously, Salah, another big game, scored against Chelsea, got an assist against Chelsea, scored again today against Arsenal. I think Liverpool were great necessarily. I think they didn't really get Salah involved much. Salah had that one chance and he buried it. I mean, especially for non-owners, Jordan. Obviously, you have Salah. I don't. I've got Saka instead. Would you, if you're in my position, would you try bring Salah in instead of Saka, or would you try fit him in with Saka and the likes of Palmer and sell Haaland maybe? What's your thoughts on the whole? Do you sell Haaland to bring Salah in, or if you've got Haaland like yourself, would you sell Haaland to get Saka in?
No, I don't think Haaland should be in any equation where he should be sold from your team. Despite obviously his 3 blanks and only scoring 1 goal, we could have had 2. I think that can be a bit screwed. I think the result there, because we could have said Haaland scored a hat-trick. It's been a wonderful week.
Yeah,
but I don't think we should be that too hasty on Haaland taking him out. I think I would rather take out Saka, even though I thought he was pretty electric in the Arsenal game. But
yeah,
I still think Salah is a good replacement for him, or /Son, depending on how he reacts back to from his injury next week. So yeah, fitting Salah in and Haaland in alongside Palmer is probably the best 3 premiums, which I have in my team at the moment to go for.
Yeah, that is something I could potentially look at doing as well, because obviously Salah is someone that I could be looking at bringing in. I'll just quickly share my screen with you guys. I'll show you what my team looks like ahead of game week. My boss team at the moment. Sorry, you guys can't see that, can you? Let me zoom out a bit. There you go. Just bring that forward a bit. So Raya in goal. I've got a back 3 of 8 Nuri, Lewis, and Mikalenko. Mbeumo, Palmer, Saka, Rogers, Haaland, Solanke, Calvert-Lewin. Obviously on the bench, I've got Semenyo, Gabriel. Gabriel only on there. Obviously, we know he's picked up a knock, so if he's fit, I could start him. But the 3 I've got have good fixtures. Maybe I can bench Mikalenko, who's got Southampton away, but it could be a clean sheet in that game. So maybe I do just bench Gabriel if he's fit anyway. I mean, what would you do in this case with the fixtures I've got?
I mean, I would be taking out Gabriel if you didn't have a good starting 3 in the 11. But otherwise, I might be tempted to take Solanke out and maybe upgrade Saka to Salah, if that's possible.
Let's have a look, because I've got 2 free transfers because I ended up keeping Saka. So let's say I take Saka out. I know he played really well today, to be fair. Got the goal. But he's got Newcastle and Chelsea next, 2 tough away games. Well, Newcastle, again, they've been quite poor, to be fair. But let's say I take him out and I bring in Salah. Hold on. I've only got 0.3 in the bank. Let's say Salah comes in. I'm 2.3 off. So I'm going to have to downgrade possibly a Solanke, I think. He's the one I'm probably going to get rid of, I think. Just not been impressed with him in the last couple of games. Last 3 games he's been pretty poor, I think. He scored against Man United. I was very happy about that. But I think Solanke's going for me this week. Villa, Ipswich, and Man City next. I think he's the one I'm selling, but it's just who do I sell him to? So if I sell Solanke, I've only got 5.3. I'm not really sure who I can get.
Would you be tempted around a 5-point mark, million forward like Acuna, Raul Jimenez?
I don't think I can get them. I don't think I can get any of them. Nope.
So it might be a non-playing forward. You might.
It might have to be like a non-playing or even a Beto, who might take Calvert-Lewin's spot at this place. He scored, but I don't know who I'd go to. I mean, Antonio. Maybe Antonio. I mean, I don't expect much from him, but he's one of those weird players. He did get an 18-pointer against Ipswich. the goal and 3 assists. Which is a bit mad, but no, I don't think I'd go there. So it might just be a non-play and just go all the way down to like a cheap. Let's say I go for a cheap 4.5. That leaves me 0.8, and I can fit Salah in, and then maybe later down the line I can upgrade Calvert-Lewin to someone a bit better. Don't know who that would be.
Could be Chris Wood.
Yeah, Chris Wood doing well. Even though I could have went with Chris Wood initially, I had him in my Game Week 1 squad, but I took him out on a Game Week 6 wildcard because I thought when I looked at Everton's fixtures, they looked great on paper. Calvert-Lewin was getting a lot of chances, scored back-to-back games against Villa and Bournemouth. And yeah, he's just not gone to plan, really. But he's had the XG against Ipswich. Don't know how he didn't score in that game. The chances he had. But yeah, 6.8 million. What would that get me? Let me have a look. What strikers around that budget? Wood is probably the best one. There's Cunha. I like Cunha, to be fair. I might go Cunha with the fixtures.
Yeah,
and I want some
nice.
Wolves. So I would probably go Cunha over Wood, especially if Wood is injured. Well, again, we'll have to see. Wood's fixtures do slightly turn, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
But he's been really good. But I would go Cunha over Wood if I had to choose. Give me a triple up on Wolves as well. So, that's what I'm looking at, actually.
Maybe Welbeck. I don't know how his fixtures look, but he is also one. Actually, I'm surprised he did play this game week from his back injury.
But that's what I'm looking at. So we set that. I can't do it. I have to take a -4. That's the problem. So maybe I keep Saka for another week and just downgrade Solanke all the way down this week, and then play Semenyo. Well, I don't really want to play Semenyo, so I'll have to hope Gabriel's fit and play Gabriel. But Solanke is one that I'm looking to take out. I could even do what I can do, actually, just do the Solanke to Cunha move this week and play Cunha against Palace at home. I know Palace are struggling, and then next week, because Newcastle they're struggling, and Saka could be really good against them. And we know Arsenal need to pick up some wins, back-to-back games they haven't won. I can maybe delay the Salah in for another week, because who's Liverpool got? We should have a check. I think Liverpool are Brighton next. Sorry. I think it is Brighton, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Yes. It's Brighton home.
Brighton at home, which is a good fixture for Salah.
It's a good fixture.
The way Brighton play, it could be an open game. So, but I'm going to have to avoid Salah unless I take a -4, which I don't think I want to do. But I thought at this moment in time, I might go without him until Villa at home. But now 2 home games coming up for Salah. Brighton at home against Bournemouth away for Haaland. I mean, is it against the possibility we consider Salah a captaincy? Are you thinking about it yourself as an owner?
Yeah, it's tempting. It is tempting just from Haaland. But again, it would be different if he scored 1+ goal in that Southampton game. Which, again, that...
But you think you're going to captain Haaland against Bournemouth ahead of Salah?
Possibly, yeah. It possibly could happen, because as soon as I take that captaincy off of Haaland, I feel like it's just going to end really badly again for Game Week 10. Now that I think about it. Okay.
I'll be tempted with Salah, to be fair, against Brighton. I think he can score big in that game. I can potentially see a double digit for Salah. I mean, Salah has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 double-digit returns in 9 matches for Salah this season. And I believe Salah is the highest scoring player in the game. I think he is. Let me have a look. I'm going to confirm that. So total points, all players. How do I see that?
Yeah, I think he is.
I think he is, isn't he? He's on 81 points. Haaland, so yeah, Salah is the highest scoring player in the game so far. So I don't think it's a bad shout as a captaincy this week. But yeah, that's what I probably would have to avoid Salah for another week, which again might not be ideal. But removing Saka when he's got Newcastle, I don't really want to do that either, because I think he can get a goal against Newcastle. I've not been impressed with Newcastle.
Do you think it's going to be easy though at Newcastle being home? Because their away one is a bit.
Yeah, I know Newcastle do slightly turn up in some games, but I've just not been impressed with Newcastle this season. So
Yeah.
I don't want to force Saka out for a -4. If I do it for free, then yeah. But Cunha is probably one I want to bring in because he's got Palace. Palace, I think, lost again, didn't they? No, sorry, they won today. I think Palace got their first win.
Yeah, that's the first win of the season. I never thought it'd be against Spurs.
Yeah, first win against Spurs. Mateta getting the 1-0. But I think Cunha's, I've been impressed with him. He's got 4 goals for the season, just scored in their 2-2 draw as well. And he's cheap enough, 6.5. Again, I could go Wood, but I like the ownership at 3% as well. Maybe I should go Wood. I just feel like with Wood, I feel like I might have missed a boat now. I feel like how many goals is this guy going to keep scoring? He probably will carry on, but surely Wood doesn't get to like 20 goals a season and stuff, but you never know.
Yeah, because that's 7 for him at the moment. And the way Nottingham Forest are playing this season is more, I don't know, it seems different. They're doing much more better than they have previous seasons, which again could be screwed results for Chris Wood. Maybe we'll see more from him this.
Hi guys, I've got 53 points this week, not too bad, but McNeil, Rogers and Johnson let me down. Bench Saka as well. Good evening. I have enough funds to sell Palmer for Salah. Would you do this sort of move, Jordan?
No, I wouldn't recommend that move. Quanda. I would have to have them both in that team, not one for the other, because I think both are exceptional players to have. Yeah.
Also with Saka, the only thing with Saka, do I really want to sell him as well? That's what I'm thinking, because he's got Newcastle and Chelsea next. Yeah. 2 tougher games. But after game week 12, he's got a nice run. Forest, West Ham, United, Fulham, Everton, Palace. Having a Saka in those games, is that better than Salah? I don't know. Let's have a look at Salah's fixtures from 12. From 12, Salah's got Southampton, City, Newcastle, Fulham, Everton, Fulham, Spurs. So maybe Saka has better fixtures than Salah from 12 onwards. Maybe the boat for Salah is in the next 2 if you've got him.
I just think in the next few fixtures, Salah scores more than Saka.
Yeah, in the next 2, I think for sure. I mean, even Southampton next 3, Southampton as well for Salah. But it's City City at Anfield, big game. But Salah has a really good record against Man City, Newcastle away as well. But yeah, Salah's proven that he can pretty much return in any game. But Arsenal's fixtures are turning as well. They're going to be quite nice from 12 onwards. And I do like Saka as a bit of a differential. That a lot of people could potentially get rid of him because of his injuries. And being able to afford it. And is Haaland, obviously, I wanted to come on to the one we sell. Because we've seen Saka's, I've just shown you Saka's fixtures, I've shown you Salah's fixtures. But Haaland, you look at the fixtures, Brighton, Spurs, Liverpool, Forest. Should we even consider it at all, or are we crazy?
I don't think we should consider it yet, because I think Man City need a Haaland for Spurs, Liverpool games.
Yeah.
Could be the only player that could potentially have that quality to score and win those precious points for them. I know there's a lot of quality in Man City team, but we've seen it a lot from Haaland, relying on him for the goals.
Yep. Also, guys, please do like the stream. If you're watching, also make sure you are subscribed to our channel. Our socials are linked in the comments below, so check the comments. Our Twitter is on there. So the best way to contact us is via Twitter. Do you know what exact time FPL prices change? Usually about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. UK time. If you had to rank Salah, Palmer, Saka as options, what order are they? For me, number 1, I say still Salah probably number 1, then number 2 Palmer. Tough one. I think Salah, Palmer's tight. For Saka, probably 3.
Yeah, I think it's in that order for me. In that comment, Salah, Palmer, Saka. It's not much between Salah and Palmer, for one is, but it's close.
Yeah, in terms of FPL anyway, because obviously we know Palmer. For me, Salah's unbelievable, but Palmer, he is playing really well right now. And you see when Chelsea score, he's involved a lot. And he's had 2 double-digit hauls this season. Salah's had 5. So I still think Salah is the better option. But when he does return big, 25 point against Brighton, 17 point against Wolves, and he is, got some nice fixtures coming up afterwards as well. I mean, Man United away, with the way Chelsea are playing right now, I think they win that game. And then Arsenal at home should be a very good game, I think. I think it's going to be, for the neutral watching that game, I think it's going to be really good.
Exciting.
And then after that, you can see Palmer returning in these games. And I'm actually considering a potential double up on Chelsea attack, which I didn't think I'd be saying. But maybe Calvert-Lewin out for Jackson.
Yeah,
I like Jackson and an option, and I think I might go there. He's hard to fit in. 7.9. How do I get to him?
Because that's 6 goals for Jackson this season.
Yep.
So he's also
6 goals, 3 assists, which is quite impressive. Back-to-back goals against Liverpool and Newcastle, and I just think he's gonna get you goals here and there. So I'm looking at him, but he's at his price 7.9. It is tough to fit him in, especially if I want Salah. There's no way I can do Jackson, Haaland, unless I take Cunha all the way down to like a non-playing forward. I can do Jackson in, but I've got to have a non-playing forward, and then I won't be able to get Salah.
Unless you sell Gabriel for a 4.5.
Yeah, unless I get rid of Gabriel as well, which
that's not such a bad shout, because there's a good question to ask: is premium defenders worth having in your teams? Because they don't seem to be keeping clean sheets. We've seen exceptional premium defenders apart from Gabriel and Guardiola.
Who would you go to under 5 mil though? Someone attacking. I mean, Dallo. I don't know if you saw here. He missed an absolute sitter. He missed an open goal. One of the worst. I mean, the worst miss of the season so far. He could be an option. Mazraoui. I don't know if I'd want to go for a Man United asset, but yeah, I can technically downgrade Gabriel to a 4.5. Let's say, I don't know, whoever, Colwill. I don't know if I want to go triple up on Chelsea. It's a bit much, but let's say it's Pinnock, for example, he's had 2 goals already this season, I believe, as well. Pinnock. And he's got some decent fixes coming up, so I can maybe look to do that. Maybe downgrade Gabriel to a cheap defender and just go cheap defense. As you see, no one above 4.5 in the defense really, or Lewis, but that's due to price rises. Palmer, Salah, and Haaland have 3 premiums, and then have like a Jackson in there. But then the midfield, so Rodgers and Semenyo having to rotate, and then having obviously that non-playing forward. I mean, what do you think of that sort of structure?
I mean, it's a better structure without the premium defense, because you can put more money in that midfield.
Yeah.
But it's a good forward, because you've got 2 forwards, Jackson and Haaland, alongside each other. I've got Chris Wood and Haaland. So I quite like that mixture. You've got the Chelsea cover. And yeah, you would have to rotate between Semenyo and Rodgers, but Semenyo is slightly a differential. Rodgers kind of is just above 10% as well. You just have to hope Semenyo and Rodgers can cover that midfield.
Yeah. I'm thinking going down this route. I think I do want to bring Salah in eventually. Jackson will probably come into my team. And then I've got to look to downgrade the defense fully down to like a Pinnock. And that's still leaving 0.6 in the bank. I could upgrade Pinnock to like a 5 million defender, but yeah, just a little structure, what I can do with this team. And then maybe I can upgrade Semenyo or Rodgers up to someone else, potentially. If I take Semenyo out. Semenyo actually has some decent fixtures, to be fair. I mean, looking at the games after that, you could play in some of these games. Rodgers, I don't think I'll sell him. I just think at his price, plays 90 minutes most weeks. I know he didn't this week after 56, but he's a player you can just play in these games, and he might nick you a goal or an assist. 23% as well ownership. But if I was to sell one of them, like a Semenyo, that's 6.2 million, which is not much, but yeah, that is something I could do. That gives me Salah and it gives me Jackson for decent run. I want to see a bit more of Jackson. I think next 2 games will be interesting. Man United and Arsenal's 2 big games against the big 6, and then maybe look to bring him in Gameweek 12. And then, I mean, I'm not rushing in to bring Salah in yet, but he's one player that I do sort of want to bring in sooner rather than later.
Because you don't want to miss out on more points from Salah without having him in your team.
Yeah, I think these are the 2 games as well where he'll probably do well in, Brighton and Villa. And then after that, Southampton, which they're struggling. Man City, it's just one of those games he can still do well. I think he can still get you a double-digit return against Man City. Newcastle, and then fixtures are decent for Liverpool. But yeah, I think I might go down that route rather than having to sell Haaland. Just sell Saka, even though I don't really want to sell Saka, to be fair, because you see with this team, there's no Arsenal in here. I've got the goalie, Raya, but no Arsenal attack. And I mean, are we underlooking Arsenal attack?
I don't think so. It's weird to think because they're in the title race, but from previous results, like I mentioned before, obviously they had more than 2 goals each game. When they played Leicester and Southampton, they didn't score that many goals in between, and if they did, it was variable. Could have been Martinelli, Trossard. Maybe Saka gets an assist here and there. So you have to look at it at that kind of view. How many goals do you see Arsenal scoring? Who do you think is going to score them? In those fixtures, because it's not always going to be Saka every week.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, how much is Cunha again? Sorry,
it's 5.7, I think.
Not Condor.
Plus rise.
Forwards. Cunha is 6.5. Sorry.
Oh, 6.5.
Yeah. So I can't get Cunha, Jackson. It's just it's not going to work. But if I go to like a cheap non-playing forward, then that is the way. I mean, would you rather go for Jackson and spend the 8 million on the striker position, or would you go for a cheap forward like a Cunha? Well, there's a couple of options. And then use that money in defense, or would you, like, for example, let's say you don't go him, let's say you go Cunha instead. That gives you a lot more money. That gives you a lot more money to sort of play around with. So you add Cunha in, and then that gives you 2 million, and then with 2 million, you can keep Gabriel again. First of all,
I think I mean, I would rather use, rather than put it in defense, I'd rather use it to put it in the midfield, like, because I don't think.
Who would you go to? What would you do with the extra money? Let's say you downgrade Gabriel to a Pinnock. Hold on. Defenders to a Pinnock. And then midfield, you could spend 2 million somewhere. Semenyo, Rogers, potentially one of them.
It would be like one of them. McNeil, if he's fine. Obviously, Johnson from Spurs. Someone like that in the midfield.
I'm not keen on Johnson anymore. I'm not keen on Spurs. Maybe it's knee-jerky right now, but
because I think you might avoid looking very good, high scoring. When we saw Brentford, high scoring game,
definitely gives me some options.
It does. I think the money is definitely not in that defense anymore. It has to be invested in that midfield and forward.
Yeah, I still think Arsenal have the nice fixtures after 12, and I can see clean sheets here though for Arsenal. We saw Arsenal. I know they've not kept many, but they've had a few red cards. I don't know if I'd want to miss out on these clean sheets here. I think there will be a couple against these teams. But I've got Raya.
I've got the cover.
It's to double up more. I'll have to see how these fixtures rotate with Pinnock and Raya, or Pinnock and the other defenders, I should say. Mikalenko's got a horrible run from 15 to 18. He played Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City. I mean, I can't see any wins here for Everton.
Yeah. And honestly, I think for in terms of Arsenal assets, I think Raya is good enough cover. I think to say that, because you do see goals from Arsenal, but I still think Raya clean sheets is good enough cover to get away with not having Arsenal attack.
Okay. Dan, the man, I'm planning to get rid of Haaland and have a midfield of Salah, Palmer, Saka, Foden, and Burma with Raul and Cunha up front. Was going to do it in 12, but might just take hits and do it earlier. What do you think of this?
Interesting. Planning to get rid of Haaland for that midfield, especially Foden as well. Could have had a good haul against Southampton, but got to weigh up the minutes, rotation, pet roulette. It could be risky.
Yeah,
but the rest are obviously front forwards, Raul, Cunha up front. It's good, but you have to hope for Haaland not to go impressive again like he has at the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you've got captaincy options there. You can captain Salah, Palmer, and just rotate between them on whoever's got a good fixture. But I mean, I think Salah and Palmer, they are great captain options, as we've seen. They have done really well, but it is obviously risky. But I mean, I've seen people talking about Haaland potentially at the transfer out. But coming on to your team, Jordan, obviously you're lining up the 3-5-2. You've got a couple of flags in the team. How many transfers do you have, and what are you thinking early thoughts in terms of moves ahead of Game Week 10?
I got one free transfer, but the fixtures look good. Obviously, Hermanson goals with Ipswich. I think that's a nice fixture for the newly promoted teams. Back three of Robertson, who transfer-wise I'm looking to get rid of and going for non-premiums in defence, like I mentioned, just because of I feel like the money's worth going funding into the midfield and the attack. Keane's got Southampton, nice fixture. Nuri, who I brought in. We've seen his long-term fixtures are nice. He's got Crystal Palace next. Midfield, got Palmer against Man United. Very interesting to see what happens in that game because a lot of pressure on Ten Hag after that 2-1 loss against West Ham. Rodgers obviously didn't play enough minutes, but that's justified from the midweek fixture Aston Villa did play. Johnson obviously plays against him, so there's a clash there between the two. Salah's got Brighton at home. McNeil is probably the only one I'm worried about in terms of injuries because his one looked a bit more serious coming off the pitch, but we'll have to wait and see. He has a nice fixture, so I'm hoping he's fine for that game. And up front, obviously, Haaland, captaincy, whether I leave the captaincy on him or not is the question. We'll see. He has got Bournemouth away, though, and pretty sure Man City will get the 3 points from that game. Chris Wood, even though he is flagged, he looked fine to me. If I'm honest, it just looked a bit more like fatigue and tiredness when he came off. He does have West Ham at home, which I'm happy to own him for again. Maybe tempted to captain him for that game. Who knows? And obviously on the bench got Vardy, Mars, and non-playing goalkeeper. Fai's got Ipswich away. I think that's good bench cover for that fixture. Robinson has, I can't see that on the screen, but he has Brentford at home, and Wheatley has Chelsea at home. So yeah, I'm happy with the team. But let me switch over to the transfer page to show you what I might consider doing in terms of moves.
You got quite a bit on the bank as well, 1.7.
Yeah, that was from selling Gabriel from this game week as well. So I am thinking of taking out Robertson out of the team because I'm not feeling premium defenders at the moment. Let's say I downgrade into, let's say, Ola Aina from Nottingham Forest. Not what I'm going for, but it's a 4.5 million example. That leaves me with 3.2 million in the bank to literally do anything if I want to upgrade Wheatley to another forward, which I don't want to do. I will put money into the midfield.
McNeil, or if he's flagged, if he's out.
Yeah, if McNeil is out for Southampton away, which I'm hoping he isn't, then he's the player I'm looking to possibly take out.
Would you? What about Johnson? Are you still confident with Johnson with the Spurs assets?
I am indeed. I see Spurs still scoring goals, and they have done. They haven't disappointed me with that. It's just been unfortunate, I think, for Johnson to not get a goal, not from the Crystal Palace, but the one before that in that high-scoring game. So yeah, I'm going to keep the faith in Spurs, keep at least one asset in there for Johnson. But in terms of this transfer, I could potentially move to Mbeumo. I think it's the only player that I don't have, which I kind of losing points on a lot because he's highly owned. He's scoring a lot. He's 36% owned, so he is a danger to the rank as well. And 8 goals this season so far. It's hard to play against him, so he might be the player I'm looking to soon get into my team for obviously next week or the week after. But he's definitely someone I'm looking at to get to complete that midfield because I feel like that midfield will be pretty comfortable for the few game weeks ahead.
Okay, not interesting. But yeah, I'm also looking at obviously sort of similar sort of structure. So looking at bringing Salah in potentially. Dan also says Haaland v Saka and Palmer, and he prefers the latter. So preferring Saka Palmer over Haaland. It's more down to the captaincy, I think. If you're going to get away not captaining Haaland in certain game weeks, then it might be worth it in your case. But I mean, interesting. I do want to chat captaincy. I mean, assuming you're going to captain Haaland v Bournemouth, right?
Yep.
You're going to captain Haaland against Brighton, or I mean, what's Salah got on Game Week 11?
For Gameweek 11, Salah has...
And Palmer, because those are the players that we can be captaining. I mean, Palmer, you probably wouldn't want to captain him against Arsenal. Leicester are away, though, in Game Week 12 for Palmer.
And
When
Salah
Haaland has... Sorry?
Salah has Southampton in 12 and Aston Villa in 11.
Like, in Game Week 13, Haaland has Liverpool. We're not going to captain Haaland in that game.
No.
I don't think. I'm not anyway. So in Game Week 13, you probably want to captain a Palmer. Palmer's got 13. He's got Villa at home. So Villa's not the easiest fixture. Salah in Game Week 13 has
City,
of course. So they play against each other. And Saka is the one that obviously he's got West Ham away, which is, again, West Ham have been poor this season. Maybe Saka's the one you want for 13, but again, it's going to be hard to sort of get him all in. So it's going to be interesting, definitely, the captaincy swings when you try own all these premiums, because it's not possible to have all of them. You've got to make a sacrifice. In my case, I've not got Salah. You've not got Saka.
Yeah.
And
so far, it's quite worked out, because Saka, I think, out of all of the midfield and forwards, Saka scored the less. Because I think he's only had 3 goals. He's had the most assists, but he's had the least amount of goals between all those premium captains.
Nathan says, wildcarding this week, which of 2 midfielders, forwards, and defenders is a must-have? Okay, I'll give one defender and then you give one. So I think must-have defender right now. Hard to say. I still think Lewis at his price. I think for me, I'd want to have him in my team. What about you if you're picking a must-have defender at the moment?
I'll probably say Guardiola.
Okay, good pick.
When in City.
Midfielders must-have. I'll go Palmer at the moment.
For me, I'll probably go in Burmo.
Okay. Forwards, I'll say must have a forward. I'm not sure there is. I mean, I'll still say Haaland must have, but even though it's debating whether I sell him.
I think Chris Wood for me.
Okay.
They really won't score every game week, but the form not the Forest is showing at the moment is looking very good. I think they can keep it up.
Yeah, Kwanda also is as an option. We're talking about forwards. Patrick, hi lads, great week. 76 points. Did Wissa in for Pedro? Is it worth selling Haaland, Rodgers to Salah, Cunha for a -4 or hold? Already have Saka and Palmer in. That's the debate we've been having. Is it worth selling Haaland so you can afford Salah as well as Saka and Palmer? Which is the question. At this moment in time, I'm leaning towards keeping Haaland. Personally.
Yeah, because if we think of it as, what if Haaland scored those 2 chances and he got a hat-trick this week? We'd still be thinking of considering taking him out still.
Yeah, he could have scored a hat-trick, let's be real.
Yeah.
I was quite unlucky, but yeah.
Because we could say we could slightly be biased over that. Is it ready to take out Haaland now? Is it the right time to take it out now? Or is it the wrong time still?
Yeah, definitely a good debate to have, whether you sell Haaland or not. It's going to be interesting to see what managers do, and we'll be chatting about it on the transfer tips video, I'm sure, about Haaland. We also do want to add quickly, guys, we are going to sort of change our schedule in terms of streaming. So we are going to do a more longer podcast during the week, but stay tuned. We are going to slightly shuffle the way that we do the content. So we are planning one big podcast to do in terms of the game week. So we'll do like a game week 10 pod and then the deadline stream. So stay tuned for that. Let us know if it works for you guys. Also, make sure there's quite a few of you in here. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. We want to look to get to 2K subs next. I bet KDB comes back the moment we want to take Haaland out for the premium mids, which will cause further headaches. Yeah, when KDB comes back, then Haaland might get more goals, and then it's going to be hard to fit KDB in for sure.
Yeah,
there's no chance.
That's a good mention. Obviously, the players that are missing from Man City affect Haaland's form. And obviously, without Rodri and without KDB in that team, it's been quite different for Haaland.
Does anyone know? Do you know how long KDB's out for?
Well, Pep said he's not sure when KDB will return, so it's hard to say when KDB will be back.
I think maybe we just see how it goes. But yeah, Man City definitely. There's going to be a lot of chat about Haaland, but he did score and could have had more. I think we're going to wrap it up here. It's been a nice stream. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched this stream. If you've enjoyed the content, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. Get us to 2,000 subs, guys. Share the video on your socials if you can. We're gonna have a lot more content coming over the festive period. Obviously, a lot of game weeks crammed into one. But yeah, have a good evening, everyone. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan?
Obviously, just to answer the last question for Cogsbird, he says, how serious is Wood's injury? It didn't look serious at all, Cogsbird. Obviously, wait for the press conference on, obviously not the Forest, but to me, he looked fine after coming off. Just a bit of a fatigue and tiredness, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Obviously, hope you enjoyed. Hope you had a good week as well. But till obviously next week, take care, and we'll see you very soon.